Tonight on Connecticut's news station, a new development and a story we followed for months. The East Hartford police lieutenant charged with DUI last winter was in court today, asking the judge not to send him to jail. We'll have the latest.
And as the showers move out, the humidity will follow suit. We'll talk about the changes ahead coming up.
And tonight, a baby shower for new moms and moms-to-be of the greater Hartford area, but it's less wants and more about needs. Community groups are stepping up to support mothers in a big way.
Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
A major shakeup could happen very soon for the UConn men's basketball team. Thanks for joining us tonight for the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Brent Hart.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. ESPN reports the LA Lakers are preparing to offer Dan Hurley a massive contract to come coach in Los Angeles. The report says the Lakers have had early contact with Hurley and plan to step up the talks in the coming days.
Fox 61 sports director Jonah Karp is here in studio with more on the future of Dan Hurley as UConn's head coach. Jonah.
Hey guys, this is by no means an easy decision, and there are legitimate and reasonable cases you can make for either choice. Choice number one, go to the Lakers, build a championship team, add to the storied history of one of the greatest franchises in all of sports, and potentially coach one of the greatest athletes to ever walk the face of the earth in LeBron James. Or option two, stay at UConn, continue what you started, go for a three-peat with the greatest coaching staff in college basketball today, and Alex Caravan leading the way on the floor, of course, and continue to build on a legacy that's on track to be one of the all-time great coaches at the college level. Those are the two options. There's no wrong decision there, depending on who you ask. UConn fans might have a different opinion. Fox 61's Alexa Farrell is live in Cromwell tonight. She spoke with fans reacting to the Dan Hurley news, and she joins us now. Hi, Alexa.
Well, Connecticut's been called the college basketball capital of the world. So when the UConn men's basketball coach, who brought home 2 national championships in a row, is supposedly being scouted by the NBA, well, people are talking. A lot of chatter today at Chicago Sam's over UConn men's basketball head coach Dan Hurley and his future in Connecticut.
We're here having some beers, crying about the news about Dan Hurley.
At the end of the season, Dan Hurley said he wasn't going anywhere.
How much money is enough money, you know?
The bombshell report came from ESPN, saying that the man that led the Huskies to back-to-back national championships could soon be headed to the bright lights of Los Angeles.
I think he should stay where he is at UConn.
Yeah.
You know, they had a good run. There's no reason for him to leave. I think he's making enough money here at UConn. Why not stay here?
Game 1 of the NBA Finals between the Celtics and the Mavericks is on the screens here at Chicago Sam's in Cromwell. A typical hotspot to watch a basketball game, especially the Huskies. Manager Casey Hancock says the place goes wild for UConn.
We'll have over 400 people here, standing room only. Everybody's cheering, everybody's gathering together and just all part of one thing, and that's just UConn winning.
So as you can imagine, a lot of sad UConn fans are in the bar.
Because he obviously means a lot. It means a lot to the program, you know, going for that 3rd championship. I mean, it's sad news.
Great coach, great team. Be sad to see him leave. I hope he stays.
For us here locally, UConn fans, devastating.
All right, so you can see a lot of passionate basketball fans here at Chicago Sam's. And we talked, to a few of them, as you saw. The fan that said how much money is too much money. Well, we did a little bit of math. Dan Hurley is actually making more at UConn right now than the last head coach of the Lakers. So what will they bring to the table? And we're wondering, is it going to be enough? Because when Dan Hurley was talking supposedly with Kentucky about going there, his wife said, absolutely not. Do you want a divorce? So he said, I'm not trying to get divorced. So we'll have to see if the money in this deal will be enough to bring him and his family across the country. Jonah, I'll send it back to you.
Coach Hurley will not make a decision without talking it through with his wife, Andrea. I'm confident in that. Alexa, thank you. We'll have more on this Coach Hurley story coming up later in sports, guys.
All right. do the rest of the show with my fingers crossed. I'd love to see him stay. All right, time now for a look at the weather. And so the western part of the state got some fairly serious downpours tonight. The rest of us saw, I think mostly some light rain with no more significant showers in the forecast for a few more days.
I'm gonna tell you what, Rachel.
Yeah.
My car is so dirty because it has the pollen, that green pollen, and now it's got a few polka dots on it from the rain. I just need like a good rain, or I gotta take it to the car wash, right?
No, I hear you. And you could get the car wash tomorrow. There's only a slight chance for a shower. Of course, it'll be as soon as you get out of the car wash that it happens. Let me show you what's going on. Those showers, again, pretty much done with for the most part. We'll show you a couple of stragglers out here for Tolland and also Windham counties, Ashford, Coventry, Stores, seeing some of that rain. But this will be out of here within the next half an hour or so. We also have some showers here across parts of Fairfield County and southern Litchfield County too. So again, just a few leftover light showers out there. We are going to feel some changes as these completely move out. For one, have you noticed the humidity? A couple of days ago, it was comfy with dew points in the 50s. Now we're in the 60s to near 70, all the way at the top of the charts. But watch what happens. Again, after these showers continue to work out, the humidity starts to drop back. You're still feeling it first thing tomorrow, but not for very much longer as it continues to plunge heading into the afternoon and especially into the weekend. Overnight lows will still be in the 60s, so it's still mild and muggy for most of the overnight. And then tomorrow looks great. We'll see an isolated shower early and an isolated shower in the evening. In between, much of the time is dry with falling levels of humidity and warm temperatures climbing into the lower and even mid 80s by afternoon, and it's warm right down to the shoreline. We'll take a look at the cooler changes as we step into the weekend coming up.
Thank you, Rachel. Well, it's a story Fox 61's been covering from the very start. And today, the suspended East Hartford police lieutenant charged with DUI was back in court. And he tried to convince the judge to keep him out of jail.
Fox 61's Matt Caron was in the courtroom as Lieutenant Joe Ficcaselli apologized and as the judge read him the riot act.
Well, Judge Kathleen McNamara herself is a former East Hartford police officer. And she didn't pull any punches, telling Ficcaselli that if he violates any of the provisions of his accelerated rehabilitation, he'll spend the next 6 months behind bars. You saw it here on Fox 61. East Hartford Police Lieutenant Joe Ficcaselli threatening state police.
We're gonna have a big problem, dude.
Don't threaten me, dude. Faking a heart attack.
Can you call me in the ambulance? I feel like I'm having a heart attack.
And lying about not being behind the wheel.
Were you driving?
No.
At some point? You want to be honest with us?
No.
During his DUI arrest in Summers in January.
You just kept digging a hole bigger for yourself. Don't do that again. Be a man and fess up.
On this day, back in court, trying to convince Judge Kathleen McNamara to keep him out of jail. We saw a different personality.
I just want to take this opportunity to apologize to the court, to the state police, to the hospital staff for my actions that evening.
Judge McNamara initially not convinced.
Your credibility is a little shaky with me still, because you presented yourself as someone who is above the law, did not have to follow the rules, and obviously had read something on how to get away with driving drunk without getting arrested. I hope if you read a book that you got your money back.
If you grant me this program, I will follow it through to the T, I promise, and you won't see me back here.
The judge using a raw and recent tragedy to hammer home the seriousness of drunk driving.
We just buried a Connecticut state trooper yesterday based on someone who got in their vehicle and had drugs and or alcohol but was completely out of their mind, had no business driving a vehicle, and killed a trooper and left 2 little boys fatherless. You are lucky that was not you.
Ficcaselli was ultimately granted accelerated rehabilitation, a prison diversionary program. In addition, he was ordered to complete 100 hours of community service, attend a Mothers Against Drunk Driving panel, and visit a hospital emergency room to see firsthand the real-life trauma that bad decisions create.
It only takes 1 second to ruin someone else's life.
Outside court, as we asked Ficcaselli if he had a message for East Hartford residents, it was back to no comment.
So you'll apologize to the judge, but you got nothing to say to the people you're supposed to protect and serve? What do you want to say to the residents of East Hartford?
He has no comment. Am I clear?
Judge McNamara pointed out that though the East Hartford Police Department gave Ficcaselli a 30-day unpaid suspension, she has seen people in the same situation be fired or even decertified for that conduct. Once Ficcaselli returns to work, he will likely have to get an ignition interlock or breath test device installed even in his police vehicle. And we should also point out that 21 days later, our Freedom of Information Act request for Ficcaselli's completed internal affairs report has still not been fulfilled. Reporting in Rockville, Matt Caron, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Well, meanwhile, East Lyme's police chief is on paid administrative leave tonight after being arrested earlier this week. 53-year-old Michael Finkelstein has led the department for the past 7 years, but tonight faces misdemeanor charges of disorderly conduct and second-degree breach of peace. A woman who says she was living with Finkelstein told police they got into an argument when he put his hands around her throat and threw a cell phone at her chest, leaving a bruise. According to the report, Finkelstein told police he did not lay hands on the woman. The East Lyme Police Commission has named Lieutenant Michael Masick as acting police chief while state police investigate Finkelstein. Finkelstein is free on a $10,000 bond and is due back in New London court on June 18th.
Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier's police dog will retire and stay with his family. Roso was with Trooper Pelletier when he was hit and killed during a traffic stop on I-84 last week. Well, K9 Roso was in the cruiser, was not injured. Pelletier had worked with the state police K9 unit since 2021. So Roso will be at home with the boys.
All right.